As I know, you are an editor-in-chief of our journal, which you created with the group. So, what is your impression about this work? How did you manage to create this journal?
Well, we only had 3 days to actually do the writing and editing of the journal, so it was very compact in time. But thankfully, we'd had a whole week beforehand to do tours of different newspapers, to get lectures from kind of leading experts in their field. So we were able to form our ideas over the space of that week. So although the 3 days was quite a short period of time to get the journal together, it came together pretty nicely in the end. A lot of that was thanks to Diana and Marina's help. They helped us put the whole thing together, and without them we wouldn't have been able to do it so quickly and efficiently as well. In terms of the work, it was probably difficult to try and organise that many people all together to get something done, particularly when you have the deadlines and different people coming a little bit later than the deadline, and then like last minute changes. And obviously I'm lucky enough to be a native English speaker, so I had to correct a lot of the English in it as well, but generally the English is to an enormously high standard, so some people were actually helping me with the corrections even though it's their second language. But yeah, it was a really, really rewarding experience.
And are you satisfied with the result of your work?
Yeah, I'm very satisfied with the result actually, particularly the cover. It looks really nice, and the content, who knows, with the cover it looks really good. It looks very impressive. And obviously there is some great content. I mean, we have an interview with the New York Times foreign correspondent to Russia. We have a whole variety of opinions, news stories, and there was a lot of factual analysis. It came together really well. I'm very happy with the result.
Thank you. Okay, could you say why did you decide to take a part in our program?
Well, first of all, I heard that it's free for students from partner universities. So I found this through email from our university that you can actually take part in this, and it's free. So I was like, yeah, of course, I'm really interested in this. And of course, my academic interests include media, as well as I'm doing my master thesis in Finland about print media in the Soviet times. So of course this is more modern, but anyway, I'm interested in media, and I use media as a tool to learn language quite often. So yeah, I'm interested in the topic in general as well.
Yeah, so, and what was the most impressive for you, or the most interesting?
I think it was the whole, because the course was designed in a way that we had lectures, visits to media outlets, and also the production of a magazine. So I think I cannot pick one specific issue which was most important than the others, but here I think that they all kind of work together in a way that the complete picture is bigger than the separate parts. Let's say if we would have just made the magazine, we would have not had an overview of the media field in general. But if we would have just had lectures, we would have not had the practical experience. So I would definitely have to say that the whole concept of introducing different parts in the process. So yeah, I'd say that the complete picture makes it good.
And what visit to media was most impressive for you?
It's difficult to answer this question because they were so different. Every visit was different, so I cannot pick one. But I liked the atmosphere the Moscow Times had in their editorial office, because it was a small, kind of an intimate space where people work together. Whereas in other outlets we went to, they were bigger in scale. So it's hard to say, but of course Russia Today was massive. That was my first time to a television studio, so it was interesting to see how it actually is in a news studio.
Okay, thank you so much. Почему вы решили изучать русский? Почему вы обратили внимание на нашу школу?
Вашу школу именно? Вот сюда или? Да. Ну вот, у меня есть степень бакалавра Финляндии по специальности русский язык и культура. И сейчас я изучаю, учусь в магистратуре в Финляндии, также который вот там предлагается углубленное знание России и русского языка. Именно я сюда приехал в Москву, потому что узнал о возможности через электронные рассылки, через наш университет. То есть это хорошо, дополняется мою программу в Финляндии.
И наш курс помог вам как-то больше узнать о России, о российских медиа, помочь с изучением языка?
Да, очень мне помог этот курс, потому что помимо введения в СМИ в России, который у нас есть курс такого названия в Финляндии, этот курс именно интенсивного характера в течение 2 недель мы усваивали много нового. И что касается СМИ, именно через интернет я изучаю русский язык в Финляндии, потому что мало с кем в Финляндии можно по-русски разговаривать. Это же неправда, там живут русскоязычные люди в Финляндии, но именно через интернет и через СМИ я изучаю русский язык, и этот курс мне во многом помог понимать больше о СМИ России.
Спасибо. Why did you decide to take a part in our program?
Well, most importantly is because, I'm from the West, the Netherlands, and the media there, it's kind of the same as in Russia, from my experience here, but the perspectives are different. And I was curious in how the east side of Europe looks at the media and how the west side looks at it. And it's kind of, from the West you hear a lot of about politics, you hear about the different perspectives, and they have that here as well. So it's kind of like West and East, you hear, from the East you hear things that are kind of against the West, you could say, but at the same time it's also in the West that way. So I wanted to see for myself how it is. But in addition to that, I wanted to know about the culture, of course, experience it myself. So I think there was a great opportunity to come here and to see how Russia is, how Moscow is.
So good. And what was the most impressive and the most useful for you?
About what, the course?
About our course.
About the course. What I liked the most is when we got to see when we went to the media. So we went to the Moscow Times, Russia Beyond the Headlines. I think that was the most interesting because you can sit in a class and talk about it, but it's still theory. It's more, it's nicer to see it in practice. So we got to talk to real editors, how they do things and what's important to them, how they cope with laws, Russian laws. So I think that was the most interesting for me.
Thank you. Why did you decide to take a part in our course?
I am always been very interested in journalism. I'm also a student of journalism in the Netherlands. A friend of mine who was actually taking part as well in the course told me about this. So I thought it would be a very good experience and to learn about Russia as well. That's why I've been coming here.
Okay, could you share your experience? What was the most impressive, the most useful?
Well, I didn't know that much about Russia. In the Netherlands, the media are always kind of negative about the country. So when we went to diverse media here, to the Moscow Times and Russia Today and Kommersant as well, it was very interesting to see the differences between the media, and especially when we went to Russia Today, I found it very interesting because then, in my point of view, we saw a little bit of the propaganda thing going on, and but it was very interesting to see, and I think it's such a large television production company. So it was nice to see that it was the Russian propaganda a little bit, but also a big media company, and they do a good job, I think, but it's so different from the Dutch media. That's what I liked.
I see. Thank you so much. Why did you choose this program to take a part?
Yeah, it's because I like to look at journalism myself from different perspectives. As perhaps you know, I'm doing web journalism, but when you do web journalism, you know that the web does not belong to any one particular country, it belongs to the entire globe. So I hoped to have an insight into how journalism works in Russia and to compare with what we have, for instance, in the Netherlands, what we have in the Anglo-Saxon world. And I think I've got a kind of enrichment in myself after these few days of course.
Okay, and have you find some differences between how it works here in Russia and in Western?
There are differences, but also similarities. But perhaps because you are asking about differences, the most remarkable difference I found was the use of new media. Particularly, I'm interested in my research in things like the relationships between the journalist and the user, or let's say the audience. And what I was really surprised about was that the notion of the user here, or the reader here, is completely different from what we have in the West, or in the Anglo-Saxon literature. Web 2.0 has brought this freedom to react, to edit, to do whatever from the user side. But it seems here in Russia there are other factors that we tend to ignore. Like what we heard during the visit at Kommersant was very, very instructive, that we should not just consider the users as innocent users or innocent readers. There might be some hidden agenda behind. And it seems it's much more the rule here to block or control the comments than to allow them, which is the case in the West in general. And I think that's something I would really like to go further into. I heard from my students who visited the Moscow Times that it's even drastic there, that they don't simply allow comments. At first I was shocked to say, hey, this is the 21st century. You can't prevent people from reacting. But when we visited the Kommersant daily, I understood where the Moscow Times might come from, actually, in their reaction.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Why did you decide to take part in our program?
When? Said when?
Why?
Yeah, obviously, this year, because originally I'm from Russia, but I study in the Netherlands. I'm doing an international communication management program, and during this year there was a minor which I attended, that is journalism and media. And once an opportunity to go to Moscow was announced, I just went for it because I was really curious how journalism in Russia works, even though I do come from Russia, but I had little, knowledge and experience in that field. But from now on I can say that I have gained quite a lot due to the fact that there's been quite a number of field trips to newspapers as well as to the TV channel, that is RT. And I'm actually very happy that I have attended this course, and yeah. Я учусь в Голландии, у меня программа International Communication Management. В этом году был факультатив журналистика. Мне это очень понравилось, и как только возникла возможность непосредственно принять участие в данной летней школе МГУ, я написал мотивационное письмо, и оно было одобрено, и таким образом я оказался здесь. Курс мне понравился, это именно, назовем так, сочетание теории и непосредственной практики, которая выражается посредством поездок в различного рода СМИ, издательства и телевизионные компании. То есть это дало мне достаточно большой опыт, и мне это очень понравилось.
И посещение какой медиакомпании тебе больше всего запомнилось?
Из медиакомпаний хочу отметить, скорее всего, RT, потому что то, как они, прежде всего, мне впечатлила история, как они организовывали канал за 3 месяца. Они уже были в эфире с нуля до эфира. Это на меня произвело впечатление большое. И также российская газета «Коммерсант». То есть это не столько офис, сколько большой дом, где работают журналисты вот уже на протяжении нескольких десятилетий даже. То есть было очень любопытно на это посмотреть. Ну и в конце нас очень хорошо накормили, поэтому это тоже наложило очень большой позитивный отпечаток.
Теперь по-английски.
О чем?
О том, какая медиакомпания больше всего запомнилась.
Well, I think that out of all the field trips which we have managed to go to, I can pick out RT. Of course, this is a major Russian TV channel broadcasting solely entirely in English, and I was really impressed by the fact that in just a matter of 3 months they managed to actually set the company from zero to live broadcasting. And of course, another one was a field trip to a Russian newspaper, Kommersant, simply because it has a very unique and family kind of atmosphere, which we really loved, literally loved. And yeah.
Спасибо.